Hey, Supernatural Warriors. Just want to come and share some encouragement from the Word today for Supernatural Sunday. And this verse I came across when I was reading recently in Genesis about Joseph. Joseph is one of my absolute favorite Bible characters. And it's such an encouragement to go to these stories in the Old Testament about these great saints of old and how they lived their lives and the things that God did in their lives. And these are things that we can take for our own lives, like, the encouragement that he gave them, the things that he did. And I think that, I love looking like at Joseph and Abraham and Moses because they were taken out for a season of time away from their world, away from their families. And God did a mighty work during the midst of that time. And then he put them back in and he had great plans for them. So you think about Moses spent 40 years on the backside of the desert, right? Before he was called at age 80 to go lead the Israelites out. And Joseph was in prison. Well, he was a slave and then in prison, I think for a total of 13 years. And then the Lord brought him out and promoted him to second to the Pharaoh. So, and Abraham, of course, we know, waited many, many years for the promise to come into his life, for the son that God had promised them. So, anyway, I think that we can take a lot of lessons from these heroes of faith in their faith and in what God did in the trial. So this verse to me speaks a lot in Genesis 39 verse 21. Well, backing that up, it talks about how Potiphar put him in prison because he had been unlawfully accused by Potiphar's wife, right? So it says, so he was there in prison, but the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And so what happens from there is, Joseph ends up running that prison and he's taking care of everything, and just as he did at Potiphar's house. But the thing about this is that God was with him in that very difficult time and showed him favor. And I just want to encourage you that God can show you favor in the midst of this very difficult challenge in your health, that he can bring blessings. I don't believe that any of this is God's plan. I think that it's the enemy who brings sickness and disease. But I know that God can use it, and that during that time we can embrace his favor. And how do we do that? It's by getting into his word and getting the promises inside of us so that we reflect on those and we meditate on those and we walk in faith, knowing that our healing is coming, and just expecting it. And even if it takes a long time, I love how one of my favorite pastors says, none of these things move me. Symptoms don't move me. Difficulties don't move me. None of these things move me. I keep my eyes set on what God says in his word until it comes to pass in my life. So there's so much in my heart that I would love to share from my journey spiritually and what the Lord has done. So hopefully this year I'm going to be able to get more time to do that. I've been very immersed in my studies, and I still am, and the family and running the household. So hopefully soon I'll be able to be more consistent. But I just want to remind you that the same power that raised Christ from the dead lives on the inside of you. So keep believing, keep receiving, and keep trusting in the Lord for your healing.